Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Shah, and this is the balcony. I have something to say. Hear me. This episode will be about overall accepting the apology some of us may not ever get. As the podcast transpires, you guys will be able to just look on my life and use my life's, tower moments, pivotal moments, however you want to call it, that's helped sway my life positively and negatively as a man. For those of you just tuning in, this podcast is for my guys, strictly for my guys. I will not be talking about anything in reference to women. Me personally, I'm not a woman, so I have no information to give you. I'm a man, and I feel like it starts with us. Right? It's the first introduction to a woman, whatever the case may be. It starts with us. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It starts with us. And that's what I want to focus on. That's kind of my lane. I won't be chastising, belittling, ridiculing women. I'm not doing that, what y'all should be doing. Y'all need to do that. I'm not. I'm gut checking you guys what y'all should be doing, what we should be doing. And I'm going to be using myself. I'm not going to be out here, bashing men. Oh, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that. I'm going to try to stay away from that. I'm just going to use my foible flaws, things that, have exposed, my infidelities, so to speak, both mentally, emotionally, physically, the whole nine. Let's jump in. The first part of this, like I said in the previous episodes, about accountability. For as long as as far as back I can remember. By the way, I was born in Baltimore. I just have a New York accent. My mom is from New York. She's from the Bronx. That's why I call it home, because I'm able to run back and forth. And just how I ran down here, I ran up there. That's where I got the nickname Shy from. But it'll bounce in and out. It's just that influential in my life. Like my mom. For the people that watch this, that know me, that actually know me, that seen me, they know who Dev is. They know what Dev was to me, like a brother, like a cousin, out the sandbox. I know his mom personally, his brother, his brother in New York, but that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. But yeah, I know personally, recently we just took another loss. Kev. He was dead to me too. That was my guy, that helped me get to this point, and then to help me break that glass ceiling. You see what I'm saying? Like that mental part, I could never, I had to fight. That's what made me go to New York, to go home, to get that juice, to get rejuvenated. What I was missing from down here. Baltimore can be, or Baltimore, however you want to carry it. I could bounce back and forth with it. But nonetheless, that's for all my little friends that's in Baltimore. That's not how you say it, that's how you say it. But that's how I'm able to do that. And with Kev, if you knew Kev, highly intelligent. From my perspective, street smart. A lot of people have a different, their take on him. I hear so many different things, as the families and friends come together from different parts of him, different lives. It's pretty intriguing in a sense, but it's unfortunate. In these events, you learn a lot about someone. That's my dog, and he touched a lot of lives, just like Dave. But with this podcast, my cousin left a legacy. Someone someone brought to my attention, because I wasn't understanding that just with the 2 episodes I had put out, the men, like the lives I was touching. You see what I'm saying? Like, my bro Ed, shout out to my bro. Like, I didn't even know, like, he mentally, like, he was like at there. You know what I'm saying? Like, not imagining his compassion like that, but when he said, like, yo, you don't know who you touch, I'm like, bro, from looking at my bro, I'm like, you good, bro. You got the kid, like, you good. You see what I'm saying? Outside looking in, and I don't know what I helped him with. I just know that I got to get my story out, but for as long as I remember, like, my mom was everything to me. And if you knew me from a top, you knew Dev was right there, his mom, the whole nine. Not to, trying to handle, my mom was outside. I didn't know anything about my dad, like, being really outside, like, nothing like that. My mom was like, yeah. My mom came to Baltimore when she was 17 years old, and was outside, street smart, not to put anything on my family in New York, but my mom learned a lot quick. Just who my uncles were and what they ran up there, but my mom got known down here quick. Of RNG, White Lock, like, you knew Evelyn, you knew Evie, like, that's what they call her. Like, you knew. A lot of people don't know, because I call her my godmom, but my mom, for a period of time, like, actually dated women. So I actually grew up with 2 moms, and they both hustled. My mom was the brains, like, and Trina was the muscle. Like, you knew T, like, that's just what it was, And I had the best of everything. Like, everybody always wanted to go to our house. Like, you knew Easter, like, we was lit. Like, me and my little brother was lit. You hear me? For a while, like, life was cool. I mean, they went to their thing though, and what this episode is about is I got the chance to talk to my mom about how my childhood affected how I became a man, both positively and not necessarily negatively, but it affected me. A lot of people are going to look at this podcast and be like, oh, light skinned, man, he what? Y'all can call it whatever y'all want to call it. But having 2 moms and having to deal with that, your mom gay, I was constantly in verbal little altercations. Not to necessarily say I was a punk, but not having my dad, like, I knew I could handle myself. I didn't know how to handle myself. So it was just like, I was the type, like, I learned with the words. Like, I could defeat you quick, so I got real good at that. Like, to the point, like, like, I ain't even trying, I don't know what type of time shorty on for real. Because I knew, like, I knew I could, I knew what I wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? How? My dad was touch and go with me. And the relationship was honestly forced with my grandmother, So, and for me, I had to learn quick, like, all right, my mom is just going to be what it was, but I can't let that dictate, like, me as a man. Like, I knew I was a boy, and Trina was tough, like, she was aggressive, you see what I'm saying, but I still knew she was a woman. So for me, it was like, watching them get into physical altercations, it kind of stumbled me, because how can I defend my mom, and that's a female? So I kind of had to sit there, and with these conversations I have with my mom, I'm not going to say the conversations for y'all going to go the same, fellas. But if you have a parent, try to have that conversation. Don't go into it with judgment, because as a child, you don't understand the mentality that they were in as adults. Go into it with open-minded, because you're trying to fix. You're trying to break that chain. In order to break that chain, you have to understand how it started, where it comes from. Try to have that conversation. Now, the next segment is going to be for ones who have the parents and they have the parents that will be willing to accept. The parents that you're watching is be receptive. Understand that at that time your child was processed things differently. So now your child is gonna has the mindset to look back on that situation and like, okay, based now that I'm a little bit mature, I can look, okay, I'm not as angry about that situation, but this is how it affected me. Parents, take responsibility because you did the best you could, but sometimes the best is just not enough, you know. Prime example, when my mom and them stopped hustling and all that, when the money stopped, we went into the year 2000, no lights. I remember like it was yesterday. You understand? And that affected me. But not in a way that I ridiculed my mom, but just like I found fun in things I did around the house. You know, we was like off for like 3 months. It was on, I think it was on Home Avenue, right there by Mondom. Yeah, that's really my stomping ground. Like you know. And my mom used to hustle up there like, you know, yeah. Long time ago. But I was right there. I knew how to put it together, knew how to bing, 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 bing. You know, these things that affected my life, and these are things my mom took responsibility for. That was the best thing because I didn't come to her with judgment. I came to her, I just want to know what you were thinking about, because what, you know, understand it or not, the decisions that you made affected my life. And that's where us as men, you know, we can, but it's not they're gonna judge me like, oh yeah, you. Nah, it's all right, let me, now I understand why I do what I do. You see what I'm saying? How do I fix it? Where did it start? That helped me. I'm not saying it'll help everybody, because not everyone had the parent that I have, you know. So the next part is for the men who don't have that parent. You know, you might have a parent and they don't accept the situation. Like my dad, I can't have that situation with my conversation with my dad. My dad doesn't know how to take responsibility in my eyes. It's anyone else's fault but his own. That's my, you know, perspective. You know, like I said, I'm a child. You know, I don't know. I know both sides of the situation, but in a sense, you know, it's not. I had to go about it too. Rather my dad takes responsibility or not, I can't blame him. You know, it starts parents. You know, it starts that conversation. You know, and this is why I feel because, like I said, my grandmother forced a relationship. My dad wasn't even there when I was born. You know, I got his whole name though. He wasn't even there when I was born. You know, and I can even ask him where, because it's like it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to break the cycle now. You know, but I attempted, and when you attempt things so many times, and that's when you have to learn to accept the apology you're never gonna get. You know, and with that, you have to understand that I was a child. Whatever reason that they did affected my life. So now here's my problem. And then now it's just about having the courage of outside sources. I've always been the type to get all angles. Throughout my childhood, people used to always say all the time, like, yo, you play devil's advocate, you like to argue. No, I just like to get a perspective of every angle. To get people thinking. It's because it's so, you know, it's so good to get people thinking, and like this humanity, like free will, like I talked about in the last episode. Like, people are so creative. And my military background got to really show me that, you know. But just to jump back on topic, you know, I was doing everything I understand as a kid. Training, I was hitting right there, like I'm on a mountain goose. I had a goose, you hear me? Boom, boom, boom. Jump over a stone, break, bust a tire, had a new one. I don't have, like, I had it like that. Used to 3-4 pairs of sneakers, back to school, 4 pairs of sneakers, rocking out. You know, so when it slowed down and stuff like that, like, I started to have fun in the environment. But through the whole conversation, my mom took that, you know. So when I went to outside sources from my dad, you know, I had learned that, you know, accepting an apology you're never going to get, you know, and understanding that, you know, it's not completely his fault neither. You know, my dad was the only child. You know, his father wasn't the perfect example. He was dead. You know, so but in the same breath too, I have to give kudos to my dad. I am here. I didn't ask to be here. You know, and that's something that helps. You know, in the healing phase. You didn't ask to be here, so why not just make the best of it? You see what I'm saying? Them outside sources was just all in all. You know, appreciate what I did have. You see, when I was 14, my grandmother decided to move away, stepped up. You know, he always had help. My dad always had help, though. And that's another thing that kind of stumbled me up. You know, my dad was always a woman. You know, that was always my thing. I was good with women. I was good with women. All the negative I got, you know, I can't really say a positive, you know, but I can say positive about my dad of the effects he had on my life. I can definitely say that for a fact. I don't know about a lot of you, but how my dad affects me sometimes is like I put him in boxing, I'm still in football. He started me, never came like none of it, nothing. And I got astigmatism. They told me I couldn't fight no more. You wasn't there. Nana was there. Cried to her. You see what I'm saying? And it's touch and go dads. You know, touch and go dads affect life. You know, no dads affect life. Bad dads affect life. Good dads affect life. Dads affect lives. Fellas, be there for your children. Break the cycle. Don't give an excuse for what? For what? But I'm not going to beat y'all over the head because it's not your fault either. You know, but at the same time, you have to take responsibility no matter what your intentions were. If you step on somebody's shoe or kick across it, no matter what your intentions were, you still have to take accountability and responsibility for what you did, no matter what the intentions were. You know, and that's what it's about. But you may not have a parent that accepts that. And it's parents, it's okay to tell them like what you were thinking about. You know, kids, you know, us as the children, it's not for us to judge. You know, we are not worthy of such that. Not for us to judge, which is you just want to know what they were thinking about, and you want them to know it affected my life very badly. It affected my life very positively. Okay, cool. I apologize. I did the best I could. Hug it out. Because at that moment, them taking the responsibility, like, you know, I apologize for the effects it had in your life. I did the best I could in the situation. That's it. That's it. When I heard my mom say that, and there was no excuse for it, it was no excuse because I lived through it. It's not so you can't tell me, you know, it's wrong or right. That's my perspective, you know. Now I can look at it now with either attentiveness or harshness. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, she looked at me and there was no excuses. There was no nothing. And I love my mom for that, you know. So back in, like, the guys that don't have those parents, outside sources, outside sources. But not outside sources on, you know, talking about them, talking how it affects you, why does it make you move the way you move? Why don't you communicate when you're angry? Why do you bottle up when you're upset? Why do you lash out when you're upset? Why do you get physical when you're upset? These are things that you coping mechanisms that we jump to. You see what I'm saying? In certain situations, you know, that's just what it is, and we have to understand that. We can't control how we feel. We can only control how we react. And you're not wrong for your emotions. You ain't wrong for feeling how you feel, my man. You're not wrong for that. Just that they got the 4 C's of a diamond, we got the 4 C's of a diamond. Clean, calm, cool, and collected, baby. We got them too, bro. And you gotta control that. We got to control how you react. That's what make you a man. That's what make you a real, your control in those situations, having situational awareness. That's what it's about. You know, in a lot of situations, I fell short. You know, it was different from being in the uniform opposed to dealing with a woman. It's different, you know. And, you know, dealing with my mom and those emotions with her about another woman, that was tough for me. I'm the oldest. And then I know so many of y'all had to grow up and had to take care of young one. I had to put together an asthma machine at like 8. Nah, I'm rocking out. He having real life asthma attacks and I'm rocking out. Like my brother's life is in my hands, and that affected me. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? And my mom took responsibility for that. So for y'all who got that parent rap, y'all, for the parents that's looking at this, no like real rap, listen to y'all kids. They may be going through something, and this is to help to break the cycle. No kizzy, taking responsibility and accountability in them kids' lives is important. It's important for us as kids to move past. My brother, but neither one of them, kid or did, didn't make it to C30. Did unfortunately passed away on my birthday. So July 24th is coming. And I'm gonna make it. I'm destined to. He lives through me, like everything. His legacy, is everything I speak of. As this podcast go on, I will reveal, his charity I'm starting. Kev, he's gonna live through the real estate. If you're watching this, foreclosures, I stop. You name it. If you're in any type of situation with your property, your home, please look in the description below. All the information is gonna be right there. The whole nine. Multi-family units are the goal, fellas. Be smart. Be smart. I'm a living testament. I'm from Baltimore. You understand? I wholesale. I do not use any of my bread. You can attest it. Look at my gram. It's tagged like the whole nine. I don't use any of my bread. So imagine being able to tap into yourself, fellas. You have to do it for yourself. It start with us. Please don't do it for another woman. Don't do it. You gotta do it for yourself. You gotta do it for yourself. Real estate is one of the most influential things you could possibly do. And growing. I really challenge y'all. I really do, because I know y'all, we are living double standards. Prime example, coming up, Trina will always, you can't put your hands on the woman, but I used to watch you try to get my mom's hands. Like, you see what I'm saying? And this is not for any of y'all to look on either one of them, for the people who do know them, but I can assure you they will take responsibility for their actions down the old 10. That's how they do. You know them. So, but these are things I talk with my parents about, how their actions affect my life and how they affected me negatively and positively, and how I was able to put that together and be the man I wanted to become. Because every decision has consequences, no matter good or bad. That's just how it goes. It's cause and effect. That's how it goes. And people don't understand it about me because I'm light skinned. I had a really high pitched voice when coming up. Even the situation now I probably still have right now. I'm kind of mellow. I'm kind of chill, so it's a little deep. But in the same time, I was always picked out. Not necessarily I was bullied, nothing like that. Because like I said, I got good at it not getting it. You see what I'm saying? I just did. But with that being said, people didn't know where I grew up at unless you knew me. You didn't know who my moms was. They really ran blocks. You can ask anybody. You can ask anybody from up there. I would put them on the podcast. I'm trying to tell you. I knew how to load up everything. 4, 5, right there. I'm 11, 13, right there. And these are things that affected my life. And when I moved with my grandmother, I think that's when things kind of transpired. Because I had for the longest time it was me and my mom. And then her and Trina broke up. My mom actually got married. It's another segment I don't have to really cover, but I know the effects of marriages and parents getting excited about their marriages and kind of not throwing their children to the wayside, but children come first. Their husband comes first, and biblically, yeah, that's true. But there is a fine line that comes with that. Sometimes women get so lost in men, because men can be just as enticing too. You know what to say, you know what to do. That's just how it works. But that's what happened. And my mom, once again, took responsibility. No excuses, no nothing. And I was able to move forward. Forgiveness, understanding, purpose. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Whatever's in your chest, whatever it pushes you every time. Mine's always to talk, always to help somebody. You know, there's times I would do too much for people outside, not even my own relationships. Cause that's just what I saw. That's what I saw. You know, that's what my dad would do for everybody else, but bare minimum for us. That's how I saw. You know, and I don't want nobody look at my dad even try to, you know, ridicule why you know what I'm saying, you know, my dad going, hey, look, he gonna stand on his own 10, you know, and I respect that about my dad. You know, he gonna stand on his own 10. He believed what he believed in, you know. But I know what he was to my life. I also know I had to take the responsibility too, because as a sibling, having a relationship with a parent and siblings that don't, you can't force that, you know. And I had to apologize to my sibling because I didn't know their relationship was different from mine as a child, you know. My little brother completely different, opposite spectrum of me. Both of my little brothers. Both of them book smart, just outrageously intelligent. It's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Fortunately enough, we all been making, like, no kids, none of us, nothing, you know. And he said that I can't take me from my dad or my mom, you know. I just can't, you know. My dad always, it wasn't fair, it was just a mutual respect. But what my dad would always do is I say, not as I do. And that's what I thank him for, because I did learn, I learned that from my military experience, the whole line, to take away from bad, take away from good, put it together, like, all right, I don't need these pieces, I don't need these pieces, I don't need these pieces, I can need these, blah, blah, blah. Put it together real quick and go, you know. Don't be afraid to, it's not failing, you just learning how not to do it. You know, you got this life, like the next, like you got chances. You see what I'm saying? That's just another segment I'm gonna cover, that whole spiritual, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna really cover that. I'm in the tarot cards and I use them as perspective, but, you know, I believe in the Father. That's just, you know, what it is to it. Or the divine one, so to speak, because I do believe he's perfect. But I'm gonna cover that though next episode. But this, you know, it's just about having open dialogue, you know, responsibility and accountability, like all in all, you know, on both sides, you know, and accepting that it happened, accepting that we can now move forward, we can chop it up, we can have a beer, we can, you know. I be chill my mom all the time. That's my ace boom cool. Like, you know, when we go down there, like, it's nothing but, you know, laughter and fun, you know, because we were able to move past, you know, everything about the childhood and everything about her adulthood. You know, I learned so much about my mom's childhood, what it was like. I got to listen, you know. It's another thing as children. Listen to your parents too. Listen to what they're like. You have to listen and not judge, you know. You wasn't always here, you know. And things that probably have affected them, how it affects you. And they probably didn't have that parent that could do that, because back then that times are different. You know, times are transpiring. It's time to break cycles. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, fellas, let's start with us. It does. Break the cycles. Break the cycles. Give women an option. If you talk to multiple, tell her. Keep like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I find you mad attractive. Bop, 1, 2, 3. You're an option. We don't have to get physical. We don't have to do nothing. Like, I really like your vibe. That's it. Like, yeah, we doing too much, and we putting ourselves in situations where they keep we giving them ammo. We giving them ammo. You hear me? Like, I do this. We are giving them ammo. You know, outside, yo, kings are dying. If you knew Kev, you knew Dave, like, the legacy was too crazy. CelebritycutzbyDev. That's his IG. I think it's grind mode 1. I'm gonna put all that in the description. But legacy, like, truly imprints. You know, this is Baltimore. Like, you can attach to anybody. You know, CelebritycutzbyDev was, you know, becoming a pivotal person in the community, especially amongst the 9-1s. You know what I'm saying? It was always about evolution. He took any opportunity he could to tell you how to evolve. You know, what I'm about to do with him is going to help, in like donations and stuff like that. It's going to help people come home from any type of situation. And if they want to drive CDL, we'll help them do that. And if they want to cut hair, we won't help them do that. They have to want to do something, and show consistency at it. That's what Devin's thing was, consistency. Whether it was slow, whatever. Right? It's all about self first. Fellas, we got to get self first. And everything around us going to fall into place. I'm telling y'all, have that conversation, man. If you can't accept the apology, you're never going to get. And if you're looking for that outside sources, my services is here. If you like what you hear, smash that subscribe button. If you like where you at, ring that notification bell. Cause my name is Shy. It's about me.